On a side note, if you want to practice drilling out arbors to put pivots in, start with some round dowels like bamboo sticks. This is bamboo skewers for $1. Believe it or not, the arbor for this black forest shield clock is smaller than these skewers. So if you could drill a hole in one of these skewers, you should be able to drill a hole in the arbor. Let me see if I could. As you can see, I was able to drill a hole in this arbor. I'll get out my microscope here in a second and show it to you. But here I have a wooden dowel, and it's a thicker dowel than those bamboo skewers. It's this big. So you want to start by using a center punch. And with the dowel, you barely tap the center punch. Because if you go any bigger, it's gonna split out the wood. And hopefully I got it in the center. And as you can see, I have a hole in this dowel. Now, I still need to get my Jacob's chuck connected to this lathe because some of these collets are not big enough for me to do what I want to do. You can start by putting a tapered end in the collet and forcing it in. Hopefully it'll force in. Maybe it's big enough. And then cutting off the piece of wood. But before you can drill a hole, you have to work with a flat surface. So that's what this Dremel is for, to get me a flat surface. I've got a flat surface, but when I turn this thing on, it's too wobbly, and it's because I can't get the thing into the collet enough, and so I'm not going to be able to show you with this. What I can show you is with the drill, so stand by. So I tapped the center hole, or what looks to be center to me, and so putting my drill bit into the hole, turning on the drill. And I can't look from the side. And as you will see, I have a hole in this wood. However, do you see the split? It split the wood, and I wasn't quite dead center. My point is, before you start drilling on your pivot shafts, maybe you should practice on some wood first to get your technique down. Now this is the pivot shaft that came off that clock. If you look, if I can get it, the hole is almost dead center. And the reason why it's not quite dead center, well, actually it is. What you see, the extra stuff, is solder from them putting the lantern pinion on. And Mark, you really need to get your stuff together. You've seen me use these in other videos where I put this over the shaft, except for this is too big. And one would imagine that I could have done the same thing with wooden dowels versus the aluminum rods. This wooden dowel would have been perfect for me to cut a hole and slip over. You're gonna have to make the pivot hole first. You'll cut a piece of wooden dowel off, drill a center hole for the size of the pivot, and then drill another partial hole that is the diameter of this arbor. And then the concept is you put it over the arbor and it's not going to move, and you got your center hole. That way you can drill to start your pivot hole. And then once you get it started, you take the pivot alignment tool, I guess that's what you would call it, off, and then using your drill bit, finish drilling the hole the length of the pivot that you want to put in. Now, I ordered some pivot wire from Time Savers yesterday, so I'm not going to cut up any of my drill bits. I'm going to wait for this pivot wire to come in. I not only need it for this, but I ordered some smaller wire to replace this. And this piece here is broken. I'm going to see if I can put it back together and super glue it or solder it, super glue, and anyway, it needs put back together. To make one of these pieces, I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. It would be extremely hard. But if I was going to make one, I would use a penny to make one, but you would have to be really precise in making this thing. If I had a hole saw that small, the diameter of this thing, yeah, that would be easy to make, but I don't. And so when I say it'd be easy to make, I would still have to punch in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiny holes. Put it in the microscope so you can see it better. Those holes are extremely tiny. They're less than 1 millimeter in diameter. And so, and like I said, this is cracked. So I'm going to have to try to fix it. If not, I'm going to have to try to make one. Or find one. I might have a clock around here that has a lantern pinion on it that I could use. But anyway, that's where we're at. Currently, I don't have internet services. They're putting fiber optic cable in my area. Woohoo! And so I'll have faster internet, but they had to shut the main box down to tie into it. And so it took out everybody's phone line and internet.